Welcome back to another Insider, and today we talk about something that for me it's my day-to-day life, and for a lot of translators is an issue and something that happens or they deal with in a regular basis as well, especially in Australia, where this is one of the main features of being a translator. I'm talking about certified translation. I have written some articles about this in the past. I think I have also done a few videos, but every single year more things happen and more information come about certified translation. And I think it is important to bring back the subject and talk about it. Today, we are going to talk about certified translation. What are the requirements? What do you need to do if you are a certified translator? And yes, what do you need to do if you are a client requiring certified translation? Because each country may be different and what you need may be slightly different from another place. So come with me and let's talk about certified translation. So, certified translation. Certified translation is one service that, if you are in Australia, will come about lots of times, because there's always applications to be submitted to the Australian government, for example, or even submitted to another government. And it's something that in Australia it's quite current and everyone knows a thing or two about what certified translation is. However, bear in mind that the rules that apply in Australia may not apply in another country, and it might be slightly different. So it's always important to know what you are dealing with before you engage a service. And us, as translators, we should know exactly what to expect, exactly what to do. However, there is a catch. We are not a consultative service, as you know. So how do we solve this problem? So, first of all, what's the meaning of certified translation? Well, certified translation is a translation. There is no difference between a certified translation per se or any other translation. The work is done exactly the same way. The translator reads the text and converts it into another language. So it is the job is done in the same way. However, it's the final product that it's slightly different. In a normal translation, or should you say in a general translation, chances are you translate the text and then you send the file via email to your client. And in a certified translation, you require a few more things to get to the final product. So a certified translation is a translation done by a certified professional. For example, in Australia, it has to be done by a NAATI Certified Translator, and or in another country, someone that is recognized by the regulator body, by the equivalent of NAATI in Australia, and or an authority in that country. For example, sometimes it might be a notary, like in Portugal. Usually needed for official applications such as visas or any other documents. So usually you need a certified translation when you are dealing with official documents. They need to be translated and are part of applications, and therefore they require those translations to be certified. Usually companies in Australia, they will search for NAATI certified translators solely for the quality, for the assurance of quality and standards, rather than certified translation per se, since obviously they are not going to require the translator to stamp and certify every single translation they do for them. However, they just want that assurance that the professional is indeed a professional and is certified by our national body, which in Australia is NAATI. So this is what certified translation is. Now, different countries have different rules. In Australia, because we have certified translators, we have NAATI that certifies professionals. We apply, we sit an exam, and if we pass that exam, NAATI gives us the certification. Then we need to renew that certification every 3 years, providing NAATI with proof of continuing job, so we continue working in this field, PD and other requirements. So NAATI is satisfied that we are actually active in the business, and therefore they grant us the recertification. This is how it works for NAATI certified translators. We have that in Australia. So that means that a translator have a stamp, and every single time a certified translation is required, that translator translates it, prints it, stamps it, and signs it. Now, recently, NAATI has created the digital stamp, and some clients may accept the digital stamps. If you work with DFAT or government bodies in Australia, there has been an agreement between them and NAATI, and they do accept it, but be aware that some authorities may require your signature, and that's where the catch is. Some authorities may require your signature, and if it requires your signature, then you might need to do something else, because your digital stamp may not be enough since it does not have your signature, as you have to do in your physical stamp that you do have to print out, stamp it, sign it, and put the date of that the translation was made. So this is what needs to do. So going back to what I was saying, when you finish your translation in Australia, so when the translator puts that stamp, either the physical stamp or the digital stamp, that's the final product, because that translator has been recognized by NAATI as being a professional translator, and therefore the quality of the translator is certified by NAATI, and we provide you with the final product. When you go to DFAT, for example, that's the final product. Some countries may have different regulations. I think I have written an article about this a few years ago, and I may leave the link below. And for example, for Portugal, which is the country that I mostly work with, they don't have, or they don't have yet. I've heard that associations, they are trying to bring a certification process and put it in place, something similar to what we have in Australia. That would be great for Portuguese translators, I agree. And in Portugal at the moment, they don't have certified translators, and therefore you don't get a certified translation in Portugal per se. So what you do, you need to get that signature of that translator recognized in notary. That's what they do there. However, and you know, there's always agreements between countries, and because in Australia we have a very good system on this regard, the Portuguese government or the Portuguese consulate on behalf of the Portuguese government do require that all documents that are not written in Portuguese to be translated by a NAATI certified translator, and then they themselves, so the Portuguese consulate, will certify that translation that is already certified, but will finalize that process by recognizing the signature of the translator that has done that job. So that's how it works. This is how it works for Portugal. Other countries may work different. So is something that you need to bear in mind. And how do you do this? Every single time that you going to submit an application for some government or official body overseas, please bear in mind that the rules may be different from what you have in Australia. And even if you are applying for some body in Australia, I would seriously recommend that you always ask what they need. And before you contact a translator to do those translations for you, make sure you already have all the information with you and you know what you need to do, so you don't end up in a confusion, muddled in an absolute confusion and not knowing what you need to do. On the other hand, translators, we need to know the regulations, we need to know what's going on, because obviously we need to provide a good service to our clients. However, and as per our code of ethics, we cannot be a consultative service. So we cannot tell our clients, this is what you need. And there's a few reasons for that. First, we do not represent that body. So we do not work, for example, with the Portuguese consulate or the Portuguese government, DFAT, or any other consulate or body, official body of any country. We are translators. So we act in the quality of translators, and that's our job. So we are not well equipped or qualified to provide any information regarding these bodies, because we do not work there. We do not represent them. So if, for an instance, we provide them with some information and then it is found that that particular body has changed the way they do things and the things that they require, and the client, for an instance, is required to get other things or start the process over again, we would be liable for that, because we obviously provided false information. And that's the reason that we should never give consultative advice. And that's a tricky one, because when you live in a consultative culture, for example, like the Portuguese, they really like that consultative process. When they come to you, oh, I need this, what do you think I need? It's like they need that assurance, so to speak. But obviously that is not a very good idea, and all you have to do, you have to deal with the client, you have to be culturally fit, obviously, and tell the client, well, I cannot tell you that because I'm not 100% sure. I would do refer you to your authority, in the particular case of the Portuguese, to the Portuguese consulate. Give them a call, send them an email, and make sure you know exactly what you need to do. Recently, one of the problems that has been happening and happened to me is that sometimes you send emails to the consulate to get the information yourself and you don't get a response. I did that more than a month ago in regards exactly that. I have clients contacting me because the consulate now has required apostilles for some documents, and in my view, and according to a conversation that I had on the phone with the consulate months ago, the documents that need apostilled are the originals that are in English, for example, and not the translations. However, I had a huge influx of clients asking me or talking to me about me writing statements in English because DFAT would not apostille something that does not statement in English. Well, let me say one thing. If I put my statement in English, it won't be accepted by the Portuguese government because it is not in Portuguese. And I do not work with DFAT. I do not work with the Australian government directly because my certification is from English into Portuguese. So, and I do believe that translations are not to be apostilled. However, you should always get in contact with the consulate and make that clear and make sure that you know what you need. So this is one of the problems. Another problem is some clients may be using migration agents that are based in Portugal, and obviously they are telling them the rules that apply in Portugal, that they have to go with the translation to a notary and get that notarized. Well, yes, in Portugal, I think that would be the case. In Australia, because of those agreements, NAATI Certified Translation or Translator rather would do the job, and then the signature or that notary would be by the consulate. So this is the view that I have of certified translation. But if you are a translator, please do not provide information to your clients, because you never know if it's correct. I tried to get this thing right and sent an email to the consulate, which I did not have a response yet, and this has been more than a month. And so you obviously are not well equipped to provide this sort of information. And secondly, try to know for yourself, so you know already what may be the case. However, always refer the client to the authority where that application is going to be submitted. And this is what this is why I decided to do this video, to clarify a few things, so you know what to do here. Certified translation is different in every country. There may be countries that have similar regulations because they may have similar bodies. Like, for example, we have in Australia, we have a very good system going on because NAATI has been working hard to establish a good system, and AUSIT as well. So we have a very good system with the certification and the existence of certified translators. However, not all countries have that. And when that does not exist or is not in place, some other regulations may be in place, and you should be aware of that. And that's all for today. I hope you really liked today's Insider. I hope it really shined a light on certified translation, which is obviously something that usually gets a little confusion going, and people always get a little confused about because of all these regulations. And I must admit, I work with the Portuguese government, and it's very, 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 very confusing because of the lack of information, and secondly, the lack of communication. It's one of the things that a lot of Portuguese citizens have complained, is that the communication with the consulate is not great. You send emails, and as you can see, they not respond to, or if you call, they don't answer the phones and you get a voicemail. So you leave a message and then nothing happens. So it's very, very, very difficult, and I do agree with that. However, me and my colleagues as translators, we cannot intervene. We cannot provide any sort of advice on that regard, because we are not qualified for that. We do not work with the consulate, and therefore we cannot provide you or any client with that information. So you have to get that information directly yourself from the consulate, and this is what has to happen. It's heartbreaking, I understand. It's really upsetting and frustrating, and it is for me as well as a translator, because I want to do the best job. I want to provide the best service, and sometimes it seems like I'm not, because of all these other things that are totally out of my control. So this is the best way of dealing with the situation, is explaining to the client that you cannot really provide them with any information because you do not work there, and they are the ones who really need to get that information and understand what they really need to in order to submit their applications. So I hope this helped. If you have any suggestions of any other subject that you would like to see discussed in our Insiders, please leave a comment below. And you know, I've already spoke about this. And check out my school, Updated Words Learning. I have 3 wonderful courses for those who either want to start a career as a translator from scratch, or those who are already translators and want to take their business to another level. If you are starting from scratch and you want guidance into what path should you follow, all the career paths and all the academic side of translation, the business side, etc., then I believe the mentoring program would be the right one for you, where you can get my 3 courses. Choose the right qualifications in translation, where you can see what type of qualifications you have and how you can harvest qualifications you may already have in order to work in translation and use them, for example, as a specialization. I talk about all these sorts of choices that you have, or if you want to do a degree or whatever, I've got all that covered in that course, apart from, you know, establishing a routine, your ideal client and things like that. So the more academic side of translation. Then you have my business course for translators, where you can do your business plan, your marketing plan, your financial plan, everything, and get everything ready to start your business. And this year I published my latest course, which is creating your own tools, where you can do your management system, your invoicing system, a template for your timesheets, and even your glossaries. So if you want everything in one plan, plus 15 mentoring sessions with me, please go to Updated Words Learning at Teachable and enroll today. And I'm here for you. I'm here to help you. But I have other plans. You can buy the courses individually, of course, if you're just interested in one of the courses, or you may combine them in the way that suits you best. For example, I have the Pro plan, where you can buy the choose your qualifications as in translation and the business course. You have the full business program. If you want to take your business to another level, you just purchase the business course and the tools with 5 mentoring sessions. And of course, I have my full mentoring program, where you get the 3 courses and the 15 sessions. So check it out, enroll today. I'm here helping you. And of course, you know, in regards to the video, put a like and subscribe to the channel with a little click on the bell. And so you get a notification of a new insight every week. Before I go, I would like to thank you all for watching. See you next week. Thank you. Bye.